We head north to Canada, where Pope Francis is on an apology mission as he seeks forgiveness from that country's Indigenous population. Going back more than a century, generations of Native children were taken from their families at the hands of Canada's residential schools, many run by the Catholic Church. They were not only stripped of their culture, but many also their lives. ABC's Marcus Moore is traveling with the Pope and has the response on the ground to the Pope's latest message.
Pope Francis in the first full day of his penance tour in Canada, beginning at the Maskwacis area cemetery, the site of hundreds of Indigenous graves in Alberta. Pope Francis clasping his hands in silent prayer. Moments later, the Pope apologizing in a powwow circle on Aboriginal land, reckoning with the unspeakable harm done to Canada's Indigenous children by the Catholic Church for over a century. The place where we are gathered renews within me the deep sense of pain and remorse that I have felt in these past months, he said. I think back on the tragic situations that so many of you, your families, and your communities have known, and what you shared with me about the suffering you endured in the residential schools. Decades of abuse unfolded in Canada's residential school system, most of them run by the Catholic Church. More than 150,000 Indigenous children from the 1880s until the 1990s were forcibly removed from their communities, sent hundreds of miles away from home to schools that were designed to strip these children of their heritage, their languages, and their culture.
A survivor said, "The only thing I learned in the residential school was how to hate myself."
In 2015, Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission found that the schools participated in cultural genocide. And just last year, a horrifying discovery that revealed the scope of the residential school system's atrocities. More than 700 unmarked graves of children who may have died at these schools, nearly 1,000 human remains discovered. The causes of death varied, from diseases to accidents, but also because of abuse, neglect, and poor sanitary conditions.
Their parents sometimes didn't even know that they had died, and the only way they found out was when their child didn't come home in the summer, or didn't come home after years away, and they had no idea where their resting place was and what happened to them.
The Pope now giving what some survivors had long been waiting for, an apology. I am deeply sorry, he said. Sorry for the ways in which, regrettably, many Christians supported the colonizing mentality of the powers that oppress the Indigenous peoples. I am sorry. I ask for forgiveness, in particular for the ways in which many members of the church and religious communities cooperated. For some survivors, though, the Pope's reconciliation tour is opening fresh wounds.
And he said, "Do you remember when that nun in the classroom beat you so bad? Blood was squirting." And I didn't know that. I said, "No." He says, "We were all standing around you. He's thrown you against the blackboard." And he said, "Blood was squirting."
There's a lot of emotions. There's people who are celebrating the fact that Pope Francis is here. And for them, it's a connection with their leader and the leader of the church. And then there's some who are still feeling the pain and the agony of what has happened in residential schools and with the church.
It is clear by the thousands who gathered around to hear it, the Pope's apology will bring solace for some, but for others.
We lost a lot of kids over that, and we can't bring them back, right? It really hurts.
The pain they've endured for generations won't be moved by only words.
They are looking for action now. Marcus Moore joins us. Marcus, tell us more about the response there to the Pope's message today.
Well, I can tell you, Lindsay, that it was a very somber scene at the ceremony today, but there were also moments of cheers, particularly when the Pope said that he was sorry for what happened at those residential schools. There were applause there, and also when he acknowledged the need for true reconciliation. that it wouldn't just be words that could bring about healing. And that's some of what we heard from people who were in the audience. I talked to a woman who's Cree, and she said that she attended a residential school, and that while she appreciated the Pope's apology, it won't bring the children back who died. Many of them found in those unmarked graves at the sites at some of the residential schools. And Lindsay, we also heard from another woman whose family attended a residential school. She was also a student at one of these schools, and she said that she appreciated the Pope's apology, but what she did not hear and what she hoped to hear was him acknowledge the sexual abuse that happened to some of the students, some of the children at this school. And so it gives you a sense of the complex nature of this and how so many people are still enduring the pain of what happened for decades at the schools here in Canada.
Of course, and for some, his apology still falls short. Marcus Moore in Canada for us tonight. Our thanks to you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.